Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the third episode of the podcast. I think I'm gonna call this episode "We Are Living in the Future," cause I was thinking about this. And I kind of got the idea when I was like walking around and I just saw a bunch of like people on electric skateboards, and it was just like, bro. We're living in the future. You know what I mean? I see this kid riding on an electric skateboard through the grass, and it's like, so yeah, I mean, we're living in the future. Like, we have all these technologies that, I mean, literally this phone, for example, that you're listening to this on, and I'm recording it on. I mean, this can do so many things. Like, I was thinking about too, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and like all this shit. Like, to think about the fact that now there's like technology that you can't even see, and there has been for a while. So to think about what all these wavelengths are doing to us, and how they're affecting us is it's definitely something to think about, and think about people who have like AirPods in all day or something with the Bluetooth. It's radiation. All phones are radiation. Not all radiation is radioactivity, but all radioactivity is radiation. So your phone is radioactive. And so, yeah, having like this wireless technology and stuff like that in people's homes all the time has definitely changed their nervous system. Because you can't see it, but you can feel it. And yeah, you can definitely notice a difference when you're off your phone. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of technologies now that are like just ever expanding at a exponential rate because of the nature of technology. I mean, in the last 20 years, we've seen a complete boom, like a complete change in how the world works. The money's always been fake, but now the money is just a number on a screen. Like, think about that. Like, the money now is just controlled by a computer system, basically, in a program. So they have complete control over like all that stuff. So the money's completely fake. And now that it's all like, credit cards and shit like that, like it's completely fake now. It used to be backed by gold, but now the money's not. So it's like completely fiat money. And I think people sometimes like forget how advanced a lot of these technologies are because we're so immersed in them. But I mean, you can buy whatever you need from your phone. Like, you can have a shipment service come and like deliver whatever the fuck you want to your house. You can order anything you want to your house now. I think a lot of people are kind of becoming dependent on this technology and kind of becoming cyborgs in a way. And it's not like their body parts are becoming mechanical, but the way that their minds are working and the way that people are going about things is very cyborg-like, People walking around staring at their phones. They're like scrolling through Instagram as they're walking around the park. They're not even in the park. They're in Instagram. So it's just kind of like a whole nation of people living through technology in a way. And they're still going about their daily activities, but they're living through it to some extent, I mean, we have smart houses now. There's Alexa in a lot of people's houses. You can talk to your house. So, like, just to think about what that's going to mean pretty soon here. I mean, there could be all sorts of monitoring things with these kinds of houses, I mean, Alexa's always recording your voice for when it says, "Hey Alexa," so it's always listening. All of these things are, and a lot of times they use it for advertisement. Like, especially your phone is always listening to you for advertisement. And a weird thing is, the reason I know this is because I was talking about something and I never like typed any of it into my phone, and then a few weeks later I got a shit ton of ads about it. So it's like they are listening for whatever purpose they want. And if they wanted to, I'm sure they could tap into anybody's phone and just like look through the camera, which is freaky to think about. Everybody has this on them 24/7, even little kids. So it's like, cyborgs, you know what I mean? It's also so hot right now, and that's just another thing that's coming with the things we've done, bro. Like, the earth is just heating up. Antarctica hit 70 degrees a few months ago, and that's pretty hot. You know, Antarctica is not supposed to be 70 degrees, and it's kind of heating up everywhere. And I can definitely feel this summer. It's super hot, hotter than it was last summer and the summer before that. So I have a feeling that the heat is just gonna keep heating up, which is gonna cause like a lot of floods and stuff like that in areas that are close to the water table, because the water is gonna just rise as all this ice melts. And I think this is happening like right now, you know, and nobody's talking about it because, like, of course they don't want to tell you all this stuff is happening because they want you to keep working and keep going to school and all this. But the glaciers are melting like right now, and the water is rising. So in a few years, the water level is going to be way higher. Because when one thing in an ecosystem gets shifted, the whole ecosystem shifts. Because it's like it's self-feeding process. So there's going to be a lot of chain reactions happening from these advancements that humans have made. You know, we've made a lot of advancements, but we've also like basically trampled over the entire earth, paved it basically. Yeah, let's smack a bowl real quick. Cheers. It feels like the world is getting faster every day. And I think part of it is because time isn't real. And it's kind of this illusion that I think society is placed upon itself. Because the clocks are not like in tune with the moon and the sun, you know what I mean? So it's kind of just this loose like number that we give meaning. So I don't know if time is speeding up or it just seems like it because it was never real in the first place. But yeah, now that we're living in the future, it's kind of just like you can fill your days with more things, I guess. So maybe that's why time seems to be going quicker for a lot of people, or maybe one of the reasons, because people are filling their hours with pointless distractions, such as scrolling away for days. But I think the way to kind of break this illusion is to just get off of our phones and, take some time to just relax and like unwind. Time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time, as I like to say it. Because, that's really what I think this earth is about, and people kind of forget that sometimes, I think, because there's a society here. But when we begin to reframe how we spend our time into it being for us and for not, anything else or anyone else, I think we can begin to take back our rights, and stop the madness. I see a lot of people when I go outside, even older people who I would have thought had have woken up from the dream by now, are walking around on their phones, like scrolling with their headphones in, like just staring at their phone, like a 60-year-old lady or something. And I guess time doesn't mean anything, so age doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. It just seems like everybody, not just the younger generation, is under this spell. And I think like going to school and having to spend all your time on a laptop doing some bullshit definitely doesn't help. Because it also trains people that is like a normal thing to do, you know what I mean? To spend all your time inside. And I think the lockdowns definitely took a toll on people as well, because their framework changed into more of a like online framework, which is weird in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be sitting in class for 8 hours staring at a laptop doing some bullshit math. Math has always been so stupid to me. Like, I'm not sorry, because this is like literally, I've thought about this so much. Math, especially like just the bullshit problems that they give you, like, oh, one has 7 apples, blah, 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 blah. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It doesn't really do anything. You know what I mean? And like calculus and all this shit, like, why? The only reason I would need to learn math if I was going to be an accountant. But who the fuck wants to be an accountant? You know what I mean? Like, nobody. So, that's all I'm saying. Math is pretty stupid, it feels like. Unless you need it. But, like, I haven't encountered a single moment in my life where I've needed math or, like, anything that school has taught me. I've had to do all this research on my own. Like, to get to Peru, which I'm gonna go in 2 weeks, which I'm super excited about, by the way. Like, I get to go to Peru. That's fucking sick. But, like, to do all these things, all this research I did by myself, because all of the things that school were programming me with was actually confining me. Like, it wasn't helping. It was just making things harder. It's completely backwards is what I'm trying to say. Like, school doesn't help anyone. You know what I mean? In college is, like, also a for-profit industry, so like fuck that, you know what I mean? It's for profit. It also gets a lot of debt from people from college. Like, so many people are in student debt and they're just like working that off. So it's like they have all these systems in place to just keep you stuck, but you have a choice. If you can figure out a way to do this by yourself and on your own, because nowadays there are many ways to make a living for yourself without going through a system, especially with technology. You know, nowadays technology is not the problem, it's the way we use it. It's Bob Marley. I mean, I'm making this podcast right now, so go do whatever you've been wanting to do for a while, but you've been putting it off, and I know you know what it is. Go do it. Just take that leap of faith and go do it, because there's no more time to waste. The only time is now. To smoke a bowl. Cheers again. Nah, but for real, lately I've been feeling like hella stuck, bro, in this town. Like, it's overpopulated as fuck. There are way too many houses, bro, and way too many people who give a fuck about what each other are doing. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like so many individual houses like right next to each other, no space. It's like you're always being bombarded with like sound from other people and just like other people's energy. It's like not great. But I do get to go to Peru in 2 weeks, so that is gonna be very like mind expanding. It's gonna be good for like that being stuck. But after that, I'm definitely gonna have to move. My goal is to visit every country, so, you know, move just kind of means like start traveling for me. I'm still deciding what country I should go to after Peru. I've already been to Canada. I was thinking Romania after Peru. I don't know, those European countries are calling to me. Like Transylvania, all that shit. Dude, yes. Switzerland, yes. Finland, Amsterdam. God, dude, I'm just smoking so much weed on the boats in Amsterdam. Dude, they probably have so many like dispensaries and coffee shops just on the street. Cheers to that. Another tote. Now I'm outside where the grass is green and the trees have leaves. Yeah. So we're living in the future. Self-driving cars exist. That's another thing, bro. The fact that cars themselves exist, and now self-driving cars. Think about self-driving planes, bro. Like, there's gonna be like a whole, like, there's gonna be like robots and shit, bro. Like, there's gonna be like fucking robots walking around eventually. Because it's gonna be like, if you have a self-driving car, that's already a robot kind of in itself. Think about that mixed with AI. And Google's AI already woke up and is self-aware. So that means that they're probably making that shit like right now, bro. They're probably making robots. I mean, Alexa already is that kind of in a way. You could just mix all that technology into a smaller package or a larger package and have robots, bro. Like, that's gonna be fucking crazy. Kind of freaky to think about, though, that technology. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely living in the future, and my guess is these changes are gonna happen a lot quicker than a lot of us think. Think about like the CERN particle accelerator, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. CERN particle accelerator. They turned it on again recently. And basically, CERN is the company that made the internet. The person who created the internet, basically, and the World Wide Web, which is what you're listening to this on right now, this whole matrix, worked at CERN. So CERN is basically running this whole matrix. Yeah, so my best advice is, watch what you're consuming when it comes to, anything. That's really the main thing. You are what you eat. And recently I've been trying to eat, like, way healthier and, like, eat more fruit and, like, just natural things that come out of the earth and don't come out of a bag, you know what I mean? Or come from, like, an animal or, I don't know, like Chick-fil-A or something. Like, that's another thing, bro. Like, a few years ago, I used to eat all that fast food. Now, if I ate that, it would make me sick, bro. Like, I don't understand how people eat that every single day. Stop eating fast food, bro. It's so bad for you. So nowadays, people are just eating, like, fake food. They're consuming fake things. So everything's just becoming, like, cyborg-like. That's kind of what I mean. I think the best way to solve the food thing is if everybody grows their own food. But not everybody has a place to grow their own food. So that's kind of a problem. But, because we just overpopulated the fucking world. But if you do have a place to plant a garden, I would. Because that way you don't have to fucking rely on external sources for anything. Like a supermarket or any of these, like, shitty chain stores that are actually really bad if you look into them. So we all just need to kind of, like, in the areas where we can, stop producing and stop buying products that are not helping the environment. We should make the choice to help the environment, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of things nowadays that we have no control over. And it's kind of like Ready Player One. If y'all have ever seen that movie, it's like, that's what's happening now. We're moving in this new American wasteland, basically. It's kind of like depressing every single day to wake up and see it, but I'm here, so what can I say? And I'm blessed. There's a lot of people who don't have the resources they need, or, just are being bombed in other countries. It's sad, and they don't really talk about it in school because a lot of the times America is the one bombing other countries, sadly. So we're definitely living in the future, and I think collectively we should all unite as people and, reconnect with nature and reconnect to our heart and to our families and all these things. That's another thing about, American culture. A lot of families are really disrupted and shattered I think that's just another symptom of this sick society that we live in. But yeah, yeah, that's about it. I mean, I've been talking for a good minute now, so if y'all made it to the very end, I much appreciate it. You're a real one. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you're interested in clothing, I have a clothing brand. The website is wearglass.one. It's like the only one, baby. You are the one. Wearglass.one. Check it out. It's a pretty cool website. They're all original designs. Been doing this shit for a minute. Been on my grind. So yeah, stop listening to this podcast and go to sleep. Good night. Sweet dreams.